Well, personally, I think we were raised to be more tolerant and patient is one. Because still I remember, parents would say, tiisin mo, yan lang. Kailangan, pagtsagaan mo yan. Those kinds of words I remember being raised. And another thing is, I guess, personally, I didn't want to get rocked out of my safety and security and of my comfort zone and adjust all over again, that sort of thing. Yeah, possibly. But yeah, I stayed 2 decades in my full-time paid job. Yeah. But 14 years, I was a full-time stay-home mom. And then I worked. Yeah.
Yep.
Siguro in addition to what Carla said, we were raised siguro differently because your parents are no, not baby boomers, definitely. The Gen X, no? More or less the Gen X. So, iba rin ang values. Personally, for me, I was taught differently by my parents. It's just, you just have to suck it up. When lemons were given to you, you don't complain. You just wait it out. Yeah. Yeah. Make lemonades out of them. Siguro, I think for me, the values taught to me by my parents, no? At saka the peer pressure also help build us as a people. No?
Hindi ko maalam whether, because both my mom and my dad, they grew up during the war. World War II.
Yeah.
Sorry, World War II.
So did mine.
So, and they never talked about their experience in the war. Yung parang all I knew was they hid in the mountains in Batangas and Negros. And that's something that they refused to talk about. So hindi ko rin alam whether their own experience when they were growing up in such a very traumatic and tragic context also made them understand the way I was raised now. Suck it up. You have to survive. And I cannot coddle you because I have a 12-year-old son. And my son, I don't, the way I'm raising Paolo is totally different from how I was raised. For good and for bad. So I don't know whether the experiences of our parents also shaped the way they raised us. What do you think? Kasi sila with them, parang they don't know my grandparents. My son doesn't know. And they have very little understanding of who they were in raising me in comparison to how they're being raised by our generation.
Right. I thought about that one time. And what I realized was, because we were growing up, we'd go to the beach, okay, and then we'd stay out the whole morning. And then, like, how come no one's calling us for lunch? We're getting hungry, And then, so finally, we go back to the house and we find out our parents are asleep and it's 2 p.m. and they didn't even look for us. They didn't even say, it's lunchtime, hey, come on, which is what I did with my kids and maybe what your parents did with you, right? And I figured, maybe they're so relaxed because what could be more dangerous than wartime?
True.
There's no war,
True.
right?
True.
They'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
Yeah. So maybe their concept of danger and what to be afraid of is kind of different because of their experience at that age. When they were growing up.
And also siguro about change, because we all know that change is always there, no, in any generation. But during our time, change was more manageable. We had more time compared to the changes that you have to deal with now in this generation. It's sometimes scary, because I'm not that exposed to tech. No? So medyo mabagal ang aking adoption ng tech. And I just like to clarify earlier my statement. No, when I said that we were brought up with the values by my parents, I'm not saying that you were brought up with the wrong values. I mean, I'm just saying that each generation has a different environment, different exposure. No, so I just like to clarify that. Yeah.